Hello, guys. Today I have a very exciting piece. Um, this is the Flavio Ikoma Grand Sampa. Recently, I've been on this, I guess, a new way of collecting. I was planning to keep only one knife from every maker, and then it's got to be one of my favorite ones. Not one from every favorite maker, but if I get something from someone, it has to be the knife that I like the most. So that way I can avoid buying something that's like pretty cool, but it's not my favorite yet. But this is definitely one of those where it's already at the top. Um, so I know that I'm gonna miss a lot of details about this knife. I don't know that much about the maker because he's quite a hermit. He's very hard to reach. As far as I know, he only goes to knife shows in the US once a year, at least that I know of, which is the TKI show. And I saw him in the 2017 show, and he brought four knives with a bit knife, and I tried one of his Grand Sampas there, which was the auction piece, and I really liked it. But back then, I didn't exactly know who he was, so I didn't jump in to the knife, even though the piece was really impressive. Um, and fast forward to 2018, TKI, he only brought one knife to the show, and it was a lotto piece. It's not even a bid piece, a more standard piece from him. So it just goes to show you how rare these things are. And I've been trying very hard to reach him in many ways, social media, USN, but so far no success. But let's get straight into the Grand Sampa and why this piece is so special. Um, if you want to start at the knife frame itself, the knife is pretty thick. But the really cool thing is, even though it's this thick, it's not as heavy as you think. Um, it looks really big, it feels great in the hand, but to me, it's the perfect weight. It's not too heavy, not too light. Um, it feels very good in the hand. I'd say this is the most comfortable knife that I've ever held. Um, a folding knife. The balance is perfect. It melts into the hand very well. It's not slippery, and it is so well contoured. So Flavio uses a little bit of CNC, but he doesn't have his own. He recently just bought it, but this piece was built in 2013. Oh, and going back, this is the number 007, built in 2013. The Grand Sampa that I saw in 2017, that was number 10. So I was pretty lucky to get this one. There's only 10 out there, not including the two prototypes, so there's basically about 12. Um, but yeah, he he Flavio is a genius, um, and a very talented maker. Like my one of my friends here in Thailand, um, it's one of his favorite makers, and he keeps talking about Flavio. And then, I said I had to try one, and you know what? I wasn't disappointed. And in fact, it has now become one of my favorite knives of all time. Normally, I don't like bigger knives, but this one just feels so good. Everything is perfect. And for those of you who may not know, Flavio is the one who invented the IKBS ball bearing system. So he may be one of the first ones to um, put ball bearings in knives. When he was younger, his father used to work fixing fridges, and you know, his first knife he made was out of wood. He just chopped it and tried to make it sharp. It worked only a few times before it broke down, and the wood would dry up by the week after. But it was an interesting story. This guy, his inspirations in his design, he basically says he loves curves and he doesn't like any straight lines. So you can really see that in this design. The curves and the contouring is really incredible. There are so many depths of contour and the roundness. I don't know anyone who does this much contouring anywhere. You look even at the back of the blade. It is so nicely rounded, yet it's still very defined. And you'd wonder how, if the one who invented IKBS will have a good action. Is it a little bit gritty? Is it smooth? And I'm telling you, this is one of the best actions I've ever had. Oh, it took a little bit of time of flipping. Not too many, maybe a day or two. But now the action is quite superb. Very smooth. It's very quiet, which I thought was interesting. When the knife doesn't really suck in, it just drops. And at first I thought the detent was too light. Like, what? I'm afraid it's gonna fall out, but as you can see, the detent won't break. I've tried this, so I'm not afraid that it's gonna pop out on the table. I tried shaking as hard as I can, but it just won't pop out. But it flips out hard, but when you put it back, there's hardly any sound. I thought that was pretty neat. The hole works well, nice and quiet deployment when you need to be stealthy, not like I need to use it for anything, but it works. And going back to the handle, this is the main showpiece right here. One of the things that really drove me crazy about this knife is the carving. Not only is he a knife maker, he's an excellent carver. People say, like, okay, makers who use CNC is like a shortcut. And it's true, it helps save a little bit of time, but no amount of CNC can ever do something like this. Something so rounded, so contoured. Look at that. Beautiful Timascus, hand carved, and a nice touch right here as well, with a little bit of a metal sticking through. The screw head. Look at the backspace there. Absolutely beautiful carving. Beautiful. The knife, of course, perfectly centered. This knife has so many details. I don't know if I'll be able to cover it all. For example, there's these holes, which you can see through to the other side. Perfectly aligned, of course. Same with the ones on top. And I don't know if you can see this, but the finish is different. This finish here is a blasted finish, but on the frame itself, it's an orange peel. It's very, very well done orange peel finish. It doesn't scratch at all, and it's absolutely beautiful. Again, on these wedges, they're blasted. Here and here and here. Absolutely gorgeous knife. And I don't know, you can see inside, but it's jeweled inside as well. It's a little bit dark. And if you can see, there's also the screw head right here that pops out on this side. So it's interesting. that when a knife closes, it almost hits the screw head, but it doesn't. So I was a little bit scared at first, but you know, the knife has been grounded perfectly well, and it won't touch the blade at all. Going to the back side, again, the beautiful sculpting and the beautiful pivot. I love how it's a nice custom pivot right here with gold, bronze inside, anodized. Such a cool touch. Again, blasted, bead blast right there. And then the pocket clip works very well. Again, he has these screw heads. And the interesting part was, you can see this thing has a screw head to lock your, to act as a pocket clip. You know, it has a nice amount of tension. It goes in and out very easily. It looks very cool. I love it. And it won't come out. At first it was a bit, you know, I thought it's going to be a bit sharp on the dress, and it is a little bit sharp on the dress pants, but not too bad. You know, I can use it, it's fine. Again, small details like gold anodizing inside this lanyard loop. It's very beautiful. You know. So going on again to the blade. I absolutely love this grind. This is a very, very cool, very nicely done recurve, and then all the grinds are very pronounced and perfectly symmetrical. This knife is very, very sharp. And I love how he uses Damascene steel here. You know, if anything, if there's one flaw with Ikoma knives, is he has quite a lot of banners out, you know, Ikoma handmade, Ikoma ball bearing system, which of course he, and along with Korf, helped invented this system. So it wasn't Flavio alone, but it was like doing it together. Now, perfect lockup. You see, this is very beefy, very comfortable. Zero lock stick. Very easy to bring it back. You know, where do you go from here? Action is perfect. And jimping is perfect. It locks your finger in. This part protrudes out a bit, but I think it looks fine. But it doesn't work as a front flipper, which I'm actually happy about. You know, just look at that. Just take a few moments. Really enjoy. How beautiful this thing is. One slight detail, the scale here acts as an over travel stop. And he has an internal stop pin. And I love how perfectly aligned the flipper tab is to the pivot. Gives it a perfect action. You know, it's not, it might not be like one of those super fast, lightning fast, really fun flipper like the Lee Williams or Thorburns or other things. It's quite soft, but it's very consistent. That's one thing I really love about the action. It's just so consistent, so smooth. So yeah, there you go. One of my all-time favorite knives. This thing has so much work put in it. It is super rare. I wish he made more knives and he was more accessible. But as of now, it's been pretty tough. Recently, this year, he bought his own CNC machine, so he doesn't have to go borrow Corf's Rick's CNC machine anymore. So hopefully there should be more knives coming, and hopefully he should be more active. He also seems to be a little bit more active on social media, although he doesn't seem to reply just yet. But yeah, there we go. Flavio Ikoma Grand Sampa. Thank you for watching.